Hello everybody, welcome to George Klein Photography. The Fujifilm X-T4 is due to be announced later today, or maybe yesterday, depends when I upload this. Anyway, the full specs and product photos have leaked online already, so who really cares when the official announcement is. I'll link the specs below, take a look, there's a lot of good stuff in there, like in-body image stabilization. It's a new updated system from the XH1. It's also got a new bigger battery, which is a very welcome addition, a more durable shutter, and 240 FPS Full HD video. It's all good stuff, and this really does look like it's going to be a fantastic camera. I want to talk about something else though, the screen. It's flippy. If we look at the product photos for the X-T4, it has a fully articulating screen that flips out to the side and rotates, much like the Panasonic GH5. You can tilt it up, down, or even turn all the way around to face forwards if you're the one in front of the camera. That's great, right? You can point any direction you want, see it from any angle, and put it wherever you need it to be. Well, no, not really. You see, flip-out screens, despite what a lot of people say, are not a general-purpose screen design. They are a specialist screen design. I will get onto who they're actually for in a minute, but first, what's wrong with them? Number one, it is a weaker design. Having the screen stick out to the side where it can be more easily bashed and bumped, and then having it attached to the camera by only a single rotating spindle is an inherently weak design. It is not a massive issue. I haven't heard of a huge number of GH5 owners with snapped-off screens, but it is still an inherently weak design mechanically because the screen is sticking out to the side. It itself is acting as a lever to exert more force on its own attachment point. It's just not that strong. 2. If you want to tilt a flip screen up or down, as is very useful for shots that are high up or low to the ground, something I do a lot as a landscape photographer, you are going to have to pull it out to the side so that it can rotate. That's the only way it can tilt up or down. Now this is going to be a problem if you have anything attached to the camera. I keep an L bracket on my camera, which is very useful for landscape photography and also offers great protection to the camera. And with the L bracket attached, you cannot rotate that screen when it is flipped out because the L bracket is just going to get in the way. So you basically can't tilt it up or down unless you have it sticking out, directly out, back from the camera. And on some cameras and L bracket combinations, you can't even lay the screen flat because the L bracket is in the way immediately. So again, you are left with tilting it up or down with it sticking directly back out the camera. You've got the same problem if you have anything plugged into the camera, such as external microphones, external recorders, or remote triggers. All these things on a lot of cameras plug into the left-hand side of the camera because that's where all the ports are. Again, these things are going to prevent the screen from rotating once you flip it out to the side, which is just going to make it a pain to use that flip-out screen if you have anything at all attached to the camera. Finally, because it's on the side, the screen is no longer in line with where the lens is pointing. This means that when you're framing up, you have to look off to the side rather than directly where the lens is pointing, and this can make pointing the camera, particularly for video, less intuitive than it would otherwise be. Additionally, because it's off to the side, if you want to hold the camera in both hands with one hand on the lens, or adjust anything like the aperture with your left hand, your arm is going to bash into that screen sticking out to the side. Now, that's a lot of compromises for a screen that can face forwards. And let's be clear, facing forwards is the only thing this new flip-out screen can do that the tilting screens on the X-T2 and the X-T3 couldn't already do. So, why are Fuji doing this? Well, I think that has a lot to do with this platform, with YouTube and with vloggers in particular. If you were watching when the Canon EOS I was released, I think about 2 years ago, you'll know that that was a relatively poor camera from Canon. I'm not going to get into a full EOS R analysis right now, that's not this video, but it compromised a lot of features and just generally felt quite rushed to market, and it was rightly called out for that by a lot of people online. However, Canon also got a lot of praise on YouTube because that camera had a flip-out screen. I think it was actually the first full-frame camera to have a flip-out screen, and this prompted a discussion, the gist of which seemed to be that anyone who hadn't put a flip-out screen on a new mirrorless camera, specifically Nikon and Sony, had somehow missed a trick, and that there was absolutely no reason to ever put anything other than a flip-out screen on a camera. Meanwhile, the EOS R was praised and adopted by a lot of YouTube vloggers as their main camera, and it received a lot of positive exposure and recommendations on the back of that one feature. Now, I'm not saying that a flip-out screen is useless, it doesn't have its value. If you are a vlogger, it is invaluable. But there are already plenty of cameras out there that have flip-out screens. And as I've already explained, for people who don't vlog, they're actually kind of a hindrance. And that's really where I'm coming from here. Most people aren't vloggers, but if you're a camera manufacturer, getting your products used and recommended by people who are is a winning strategy. A lot of people can't extensively try cameras before they buy them, and a lot of people buy them online. So we are reliant on reviewers' recommendations for what camera to get. And there are already plenty of cameras out there that have flip-out screens. I would just like there to be a few that don't for people who don't vlog. Unfortunately, I think this is the way the industry is going. Canon have gone flip-out screen, and this is the second Fuji camera with a flip-out screen. Considering it is the flagship XT model and not the replacement for the X-T30, I think all future cameras from Fuji with an articulating screen of some kind are probably going to have a flip-out screen, maybe with the exception of the X Pro line that seem to have had their own unique screen design. There was a rumour that the X-T4 would have a tilting and articulating screen like the Panasonic S1H, and maybe that's something that will happen in the future, but for the moment it appears that it's a GH5 style flip-out screen that we are getting on the X-T4. What do you think? Do you think flip-out screens are a perfect solution, or like me, do you think there is a bit too much compromise there? Leave a comment, like and subscribe for more videos. Thanks for watching.